This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 1 of Julius Caesar, Rise and Fall, where we're starting at the very beginning with the man who would become Rome's most famous leader. Today we're diving into how being born into one of Rome's elite patrician families gave Caesar a serious head start in life, and why that mattered so much in ancient Rome. Let's get into it. A future dictator begins life almost broke. Julius Caesar carried one of Rome's oldest, most prestigious family names, yet spent his youth hustling for basic political survival. How does a man with divine ancestry but little cash turn pedigree into raw power? By Caesar's day, the old patrician mystique was fading, and Rome ran on cash, clients, and spectacle. Noble blood could still turn heads, but votes were won in the streets, courts, and campaign tents. Caesar grasped this early. Instead of retreating into nostalgic privilege, he treated his family name like seed capital, something to be risked, leveraged, and sometimes nearly lost. He stepped into a city where bankrupt aristocrats auctioned influence, ambitious outsiders bought their way upward, and Civil War memories still smoldered. Aligning with the populares was not just a moral pose, it was a calculated bet that the future lay with the masses, not the old guard. Like a musician trading a safe conservatory post for the chaos of a crowded tavern stage, he chose visibility, controversy, and relentless networking over comfortable obscurity, and Rome began to notice. Caesar's real environment was less marble and laurel, more debt collectors and street noise. He grew up in the crowded Suburra, a neighborhood closer to today's noisy city center than to a gated estate. From there he watched processions of generals, courtroom dramas, and grain riots, all signals about how Rome actually worked. Every favor owed, every name remembered, every appearance at a funeral or trial became a small bet on future loyalty, like a coder quietly contributing to open-source projects long before anyone knows their handle. Caesar's rise began in these unnoticed, unglamorous repetitions. Caesar's first moves were not on the battlefield, but on Rome's intricate social chessboard. His early priesthood as Flamen Dialis, for instance, was a dead end in the standard political ladder. It barred him from many public offices and from military command. Accepting it signaled that his family lacked the clout to demand a more promising post. Yet even here he practiced visibility. Rituals, ceremonies, public appearances, learning how attention in Rome could be managed, not just received. Sulla's prescriptions then tore up that script. When the dictator ordered him to divorce Cornelia, Caesar's refusal was dangerous, not romantic theater. It bound him more tightly to Cinna's defeated camp and pushed him into temporary exile. Instead of disappearing, he used the crisis to cultivate new patrons in Asia and Cilicia, serving on campaigns, observing seasoned commanders, and polishing the skills that really moved careers: clear speech, quick decision-making, and an almost theatrical sense of timing. The pirate episode shows how far this went. Kidnapped on his way to study rhetoric on Rhodes, he treated his captors like future defendants, joking that he would crucify them. After his ransom was paid, he actually returned with a small force, captured them, and carried out the sentence, after first ordering their throats cut to shorten the suffering. Brutal, but also calculated, he turned a humiliating incident into a personal legend and a demonstration that his threats were never idle. Back in Rome, he raised his profile not by wealth displays, but by relentless public service in roles others found tedious, advocating in the courts, supporting popular legislation, and appearing at every high-stakes funeral and trial he could. Like a touring musician who accepts every small venue to get their name on more posters, he focused on repetition and reach. Each case argued, each favor granted, each alliance brokered added another thread to a widening network. What made this effective was consistency. He presented himself as the same man in crisis and in comfort, loyal to allies, merciless to enemies, always moving. In a city crowded with static family reputations, that sense of forward motion became his real asset. Caesar treated his early disadvantages like a composer working with a limited set of instruments. If he couldn't afford a full orchestra, He'd wring everything possible from a few strong themes. One theme was visibility. He showed up where reputations were made, law courts, temples, public meetings, and made sure people could attach a face and voice to the old Julian name. Another was risk. When others clung to neutrality after Sulla, he gambled on bold stances that made him memorable, even if they scared off safer patrons. He also treated every setback as raw material. Losing his priesthood forced him into the provinces. He turned that into on-the-job training with armies and governors. The pirate incident, instead of being a quiet embarrassment, became a story retold in elite circles. A young Roman who wouldn't accept humiliation and followed through on threats. Step by step, he built a portfolio of stories, favors, and scars that made future supporters feel they were backing momentum, not merely a name from the past. Caesar's path shows how systems in decline invite insider disruptors, people fluent in elite codes yet willing to bend them. When trust in rules erodes, audiences stop asking, "Is this legal?" and start asking, "Can this person get things done?" That shift still matters. In modern institutions, political parties, tech giants, even universities, watch who learns to speak both establishment and opposition. Those bilingual operators often end up rewriting the score for everyone else. Caesar's ascent began not with armies but with how he spent his attention. He treated each public moment like a limited studio session, rehearsed, deliberate, aimed at producing a memorable track in the city's mind. That raises a modern question. If your name is only a quiet background beat today, where would you stage your first unmistakable solo? Before next week, ask yourself, where am I still quietly relying on my patrician family advantages, name, network, safety net, instead of building skills and results that would stand on their own if all of that disappeared tomorrow? Then ask, if my family's money, connections, and reputation vanished today, what's one concrete move I'd make this week to prove my value in the real market? An internship I'd chase? A project I'd start? A person I'd pitch? Finally, who in my circle treats me like an equal, not the kid from a good family? And how can I spend more time with them this week to sharpen my independence, resilience, and willingness to be told the uncomfortable truth? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow.